Hi parents, I'm Dr. Matt at PwC Chiropractic. And if your child's struggling with sensory struggles, if they're struggling with ADHD, behavior, big emotions, sleep, digestion, you name it, no matter how big it is, we have likely been there too with you. And I'm talking about our team of doctors, and our team of care advocates. Most of us actually found pediatric chiropractic because we were struggling, whether it be febrile seizures, whether it be sensory issues, developmental delays, special needs, speech delays. We've all had experience with it. And that's honestly why I love our team of moms and dads, aunts, uncles that have these relationships and have been through it, not only to be able to communicate how the path is towards healing in that journey, but also to share their story and let you know as a parent you're not alone. And so that's really where my story started in pediatric chiropractic. So I want to tell you a little of that today to just encourage you that you are not alone, and we are uniquely positioned to help the people we once were. And I know you probably know that in your own life as a parent, but also know that there are people to help you, and we're here for you. My journey through pediatric chiropractic actually started with my son, Micah. Micah is now 14 years old, but when he was first born, we were scared. About a month before he was due, he was measuring really low fluid in my wife, Crystal, and we were getting checked. And one day they said, hey, we've got to speed this along. We've got to do an emergency C-section. And we did the emergency C-section. And right after Micah was born, Micah was rushed to an MRI. They were worried he had swelling on the brain. He might have had hydrocephalus. They were scared that they needed to do something really quick to maybe save his life. So after the MRI, we took him back. We were working with Micah, trying to get him to eat, to latch, to nurse, when a neurologist came into our hospital room and said, well, I have good news and bad news. And that's never something you want to hear from a doctor, especially a neurologist. And he said, well, the good news is, Mike is stable. He's going to be able to come home tonight. Things are going to start to progress, and he's not going to have big challenges that we have to do surgery on or anything like that. But the bad news is he was born with a absent corpus callosum. Now, what that is an absent part of Micah's brain. It's the connector part to the brain. And so this just unleashed a cascade of emotions in our mind. What does this mean? What's going to happen? What does that function do? Where do we have to turn? We didn't really have any answers. In fact, we were handed a pamphlet of paper that had the readout on it and really told, hey, you might not want to Google this because you're probably not going to get accurate information, and there's a lot of info on it. So what did we do as parents? We Googled it. We looked into his diagnosis, and it made us more and more scared. We didn't really know where to turn. So the next 3 months of Micah's life involved us going to neurologist appointments, going to therapy appointments, getting him enrolled in early intervention and things like that as early as we could, because we knew there was an uphill climb for his mom and I to get him better. Here's the thing though, with Micah is we had this big diagnosis where, okay, developmentally, he's probably going to be delayed and have all these big challenges. But on the flip side, in the moment, he wasn't sleeping, he wasn't pooping, he was colicky, he was refluxy, he was fussy. And as a dad and my poor wife, we just didn't know what to do. We're like, Micah, you got to sleep, buddy. Like, we can't think about anything else. I just remember bouncing on that yoga ball saying, hey man, just give us a couple hours, chill out, relax. And so we were really struggling. And thankfully, we had a family friend who was a pediatric chiropractor. And he said, hey, I know you've been everywhere and done everything, but let me tell you how we can help. And so we took Mike in. We went through his entire short history in this world. We did some neurological scans and tests. And then the doctor did the gentlest neurological adjustment where me as a dad really looked at it and said, I don't even know if you did anything, but let's see how Micah does. Here's what's so cool is Micah slept a ton after the first adjustment. In fact, after he had about a month's worth of adjustments, he was getting these awesome stretches of 3 to 4 hours a night. He was pooping more regularly, so he wasn't as colicky. I didn't have to bounce on the red yoga ball every single night to put him to sleep, and things were going so much easier. Where by 6 months, we felt like we were on track to really get after his struggle, his big diagnosis of the agenesis of his corpus callosum, where we could get him in the right developmental just work and therapies and all those other things because his body was functioning so much better. Now, On the other side of this now, about, a few years later, I actually went into chiropractic school and became a chiropractor. What I didn't know is what that chiropractor was working on, Dr. Roberts. He was looking at Micah's nervous system and saying, okay, like I know there's a big limitation of matter where he, has these big cognitive delays, these physical delays that he's diagnosed with, but how do I get his nervous system communicating and functioning better? Because that's the master controller of sleep, of poop, of relaxation, of development. If that is calm, then all else will follow and the body will simply work it out. It sounds really simple, but what do our bodies do when we're in a good place, right? It works it out and it starts to develop and grow. Now, Micah's had his challenges through the years. In fact, it took Micah 8 years to be able to walk. And now he's working on potty training. But you know what? Micah has gone so much further than the neurologist ever said he would at 3 months, 3 to 6 months, years of age. He has vastly exceeded those expectations. And we couldn't have done that without Micah seeing that chiropractor early on and having a healthy, robust, developing nervous system that helped him avoid and just work through those limitations of matter that he had so much. So when I say I'm a doctor that's been through it, I'm a doctor that's been through it. Sometimes I take my doctor hat off and I'm just like, listen, I'm just a dad. And I know the thoughts that I had when Micah was starting to go through care. Is this going to work? Is this the right choice? What other options do we have? Because I just didn't know anything about the healthcare system. So if you're a parent and your child might be struggling with, a developmental delay, they might have a complicated diagnosis, it might be a little bit of everything that they're struggling with, look to the nervous system. In our practice, PwC Chiropractic, we focus very much on listening to parents. So finding the whole history, going back from before birth, at birth, and then in development to say, okay, here's how the child is struggling. Then we're going to quantify that. We're going to measure that with our insight scans. These are very gentle. They're not x-ray based or anything like that. They're sensory based scans that are going to tell us what's going on with the autonomic nervous system, what's going on with the motor system, and then how really just relaxed is the nervous system? Is it balanced? And we can actually look at that through technology called heart rate variability. And those are all such powerful things that we can put together, those scans and their history, to determine, okay, here's how we can help their nervous system get back on track. What's really cool is when you get the nervous system back on track, it takes care of the root cause of it. So then you attach those systems that are working really well, and the symptoms that follow often go away or are minimized, and kiddos can work through them. So we're doctors, we're a staff that have been through it. I told my story on here, but we have many, many CAs, staff, aunts, uncles, moms, dads that can all tell you a similar story about their kid, about their struggle. So if you're just wondering, hey, is this the right choice? Do I need someone to talk to? I want to find out more about the nervous system and neurologically focused pediatric chiropractic. Shoot us a DM. Talk to us. We would love to talk you through it. Love you to share our story, hear your story, because chances are we can help, and it may be the missing puzzle piece into helping get your child better and get them on the right track. I hope this video finds you well. God bless. We look forward to talking with you guys in the future.